And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Firewater. Far out in space, 3 cargo ships from Jupiter wing their way to a distant galaxy. Suddenly, passing the volcanic world of Thor, they're caught in a violent eruption. The ships are gone without a trace. The terrible space storms of Thor have struck again. But now, in the Wonder Rocket Travel Lab, Colonel Bleep, Squeak, and Scratch are on their way to survey and chart the exact position of this treacherous planet on a map, a space map for safer space travel. On his visoscreen, the Colonel briefs his crew. Immediately following the next eruption, the Travel Lab will zoom in on Thor. A spray of water from the forward guns will protect the ship from the planet's blazing heat as they make a low-altitude run to survey Thor's exact position. But they must speed off to safety before the next space storm erupts. Unknown to Bleep and his crew, however, the wicked Dr. Destructo is already at work on a treacherous plot to send the Travel Lab to a fiery doom. If this culprit has his way, the spray guns on the Colonel's rocket will not be filled with water at all, but with highly inflammable rocket fuel. They will all be lost in a blazing inferno. Now back aboard the Travel Lab, Bleep spots an approaching space tanker. According to plan, the traveling laboratory will take on the water supply for its spray guns in a mid-space cargo transfer from such a craft. But Bleep is unaware that this spaceship is not the water-carrying tanker. No, indeed, this cargo ship is filled to the brim with highly inflammable rocket fuel, and the pilot is the evil Dr. Destructo himself.
Prepare for contact, Travel Lab.
Sizzling satellites? This is terrible. Scratch is opening the intake valve on the reservoir tanks. In seconds, they'll be filled with explosive rocket fuel. Don't turn that nozzle, Scratch! Don't do it! Stop! Stop! It's too late. He's turning it on. But wait, what's he doing now? Great galaxies, he's filling his drinking cup first.
Oh.
That's not water. Scratch knows something is terribly wrong. Quickly, the caveman ties a knot in the end of the snorkel hose. Now, as Destructo pumps the explosive fuel through the hose, it's trapped inside. Bigger and bigger the hose swells until inside the tanker, Destructo sneers with glee. The gauge of his cargo tank reads empty. The villain is sure the deadly load has been transferred to the Travel Lab. So away he speeds. But the spaceman and his deputies have the last laugh this time. Now Squeak takes careful aim. Scratch loads the forward launching tube. Destructo's plan has gone wrong, and you can be sure he's pretty burned up about it. Ready? Aim! Fire! Prepare for contact, Doctor. And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Night of Death. On a dark and stormy planet in outer space stands the tumble-down stronghold of the treacherous Black Knight of Pluto. Here the villain meets in secret session with Black Patch the space pirate and the sinister Black Robot.
Hail, O Knight of the Double Cross!
Quickly, the wicked leader reveals his plan for victory over Colonel Bleep. First, they will capture Squeak and Scratch, then trick the spaceman into exhausting his precious supply of powerful futomic energy.
Colonel Bleep will then be like putty in my hands. Hooray! Victory will be ours. Hooray! Together we shall rule the world. Hail! Hail! Hail!
Hours later, space deputies Squeak and Scratch streak over Pluto on their midday space patrol.
Attention, space deputies. A fire-breathing dragon has kidnapped the beautiful Princess of Pluto. Begin rescue search immediately.
Hold everything! Look, there below, those puffs of smoke. Could that cave be the lair of the wicked dragon?
Help! Help! Save me! Save me!
It is! The deputies plunge to the rescue.
Help! 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 Help!
Sizzling Saturn! That's not the beautiful princess. That's no dragon either. Stop, fellas! It's a deadly ambush! Oh no! Squeak and Scratch are captured!
Calling Colonel Bleep! Calling Colonel Bleep! Deputies Squeak and Scratch need help! Hurry!
Great galaxies! Now the Colonel himself has been fooled by the Black Knight's treachery. He's speeding headlong into the villain's trap. But Colonel Bleep sees only Squeak's crumpled cowboy hat, Scratch's splintered club, and the monstrous sleeping dragon, which has obviously gulped down the Colonel's beloved deputies for lunch. Bleep's eyes are too filled with tears to notice that the dreadful dragon is only a hollow dummy, or that his two friends, still very much alive, are helplessly tied up inside. Suddenly, the Colonel's sorrow turns to anger. No fire-breathing monster can eat his loyal deputies. Every last ounce of Bleep's powerful futomic energy supply will be jam-packed into one mighty blast of revenge. The evil beast will be blown to smithereens. Now, hidden inside the darkened cave, the Black Knight and his wicked companions watch with glee. This is exactly what they planned. Bleep's super-duper blast will destroy Squeak and Scratch and completely exhaust the Colonel's futomic energy supply. He'll be helpless. But look, those puffs of smoke from the dummy dragon. They're forming the SOS signal in dot-dash code. Squeak and Scratch are signaling the Colonel just in time. Now Bleep whirls about and sends the shattering blast deep inside the cave. And so Squeak and Scratch were saved. And the evil Black Knight and his partners in crime learned that not even a fire-breathing monster can compare with Colonel Bleep's powerful butomic energy.
And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Manhunt on the Moon.
Interplanetary investigator Colonel Bleep and his space deputies, Squeak and Scratch, floated to a stop just above the surface of the moon. They were searching for some trace of the terrible Dr. Destructo among the thousands of crater marks that dotted the strange landscape. To Bleep, it appeared that these craters might have been caused by thousands of meteors crashing down at terrific speed. But many scientists believe the strange markings are the scars of a tremendous bubbling action caused when hot internal gases escaped to the outer surface back when the moon was soft and pliable. Scratch, however, imagined the many craters had been left long ago by violent volcanic eruptions, similar to those the planet Earth had experienced from time to time. Then, something below caught their attention. Glistening in the sun at the very top of Mount Leibniz, the moon's highest visible peak, stood a strange tower. It closely resembled the man-made structure called the Eiffel Tower, which is a familiar landmark on Earth, in the city of Paris. Diving down for a closer look, Bleep and his friends found a huge reflecting mirror with a powerful lens attached to the top of the tower. This had been the moon power device used by Dr. Destructo not long ago to guide the runaway rocket straight down toward 00 Island. While Bleep and Squeak searched for clues, Scratch peered through the powerful lens for a telescopic view of the Earth beyond. But as he looked, he froze with horror. For there, with one foot on South America and the other on South Africa, stood a tremendous black giant. Actually, it was only a highly magnified shadow of the caveman himself, projected nearly 250,000 miles through space by the light of the moon. But the sight was so terrifying, the frightened Scratch fell over backwards and tumbled down to almost certain death on the rocks below. Squeak looked up just in time to see his helpless companion falling straight down upon the puppet himself. Squeak couldn't move or even call for help. He could only cover his eyes and wait for the bone-splintering crash. He waited for the end, and waited, but nothing happened. Then Squeak opened his eyes just as Scratch gently floated into his arms. For you see, the gravity pull of the moon is only 1/6 as great as Earth, so Scratch almost floated down that great distance like a feather to land unharmed in the arms of little Squeak. Suddenly, Bleep urgently signaled his companions. He had found still another clue. At the base of the tower was a scrap of notebook paper covered with the hasty scrawls of Dr. Destructo's own hand. To the others, it was only a jumble of strange symbols. But to Bleep, this was a flight plan, Destructo's own flight plan. And it told the Colonel exactly where this master culprit had gone. It would take courage to follow Destructo now. For Bleep knew this place, knew it too well, and he was sure that fantastic terrors would be waiting out there.
And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of nightmare. There was great excitement on 00 Island. Colonel Bleep had spent all morning hard at work in his laboratory workshop. Now, at last, Squeak and Scratch were in for a great surprise. For Bleep had built 2 gleaming new space scooters. There was one for Squeak and one for Scratch. Yes, the puppet and caveman were soon to be full-fledged flying cadets in Colonel Bleep's Space Scooter Squadron. But first, Bleep explained it takes far more than a fine scooter to make a good flying cadet. For unless a pilot knows the rules of safe flying, he is only a menace in the skyways. And so, Squeak and Scratch were instructed to memorize Bleep's Scooter Squadron flying rules as the first step to becoming cadets. Good old Scratch began studying at once, for he was determined to be a very good cadet, a credit to his squadron. But little Squeak foolishly spent his time making a flashy uniform with gleaming buttons, glittering medals, and colorful symbols. For Squeak wasn't satisfied to just be a good cadet. He was going to be the greatest flyer of them all. The Ace of Space. That night, the caveman dreamed happily of his future as a space cadet. But the puppet had already tossed aside his scooter and replaced it with a supercharged, triple-stage, high-compression, Futomic-powered cruiser. And off he goes. What speed! What power! What skill! But wait! Look out! There's a stop sign! That's no way to fly! Ace! Be careful! That's a one-way space lane! This is terrible! Someone stop him! He's buzzing the space station! That did it. Ace is really in trouble now. The entire space patrol is after him. Stop, Squeak! Stop! Before it's too late! His ship is gone. He's down. The Ace of Space is finished.
The prisoner is charged with reckless flying without a license. What is your verdict?
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
20 years in the prison tower.
Poor Squeak. He's fainted.
Get up, prisoner. Get up.
Get up! Get up! Get up, little Squeak. It's morning. This is the day for your first flying lesson. Now the puppet sits up and blinks and shakes his head in wonder. For thank goodness, it has all been just a terrible dream. But even a dream can sometimes teach a valuable lesson. For now Squeak knows that it takes lots of hard work and study to accomplish anything worthwhile in life. And especially to become a full-fledged flying cadet in Colonel Bleep's Space Scooter Squadron.
And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Satellite of Death.
This is the day for Scratch's first solo flight as a flying cadet in Colonel Bleep's Space Scooter Squadron. With a snappy salute, the caveman cadet leaps aboard his speedy craft. Then off he goes, heading straight to the north and into the wildest, most terrifying adventure of them all. Already the ground below is solidly covered with ice and snow. Around the North Pole, Scratch soars. Then, right on course spans the desolate wastelands of outer Spagovia. Suddenly, Scratch is caught in a frigid snow cloud. The wings of his scooter bogged down with ice. Bail out, Scratch, before it's too late. Jump! Jump! Geronimo! And there he is, floating gently to Earth in a billowing parachute. But unknown to the caveman, directly below stands a tumble-down Spagovian castle. Here, the last of the power-mad warlords prepare to test their latest invention, a satellite rocket. If the test is successful, they will have found the way at last to conquer the world from outer space. Listen.
Hopsy doggy, the rocket is ready for testing. But cousin, who is going to volunteer? Well, who do you think? Get in? Who, me? Nothing doing. What about you? You think I am crazy? You is going. No, you is going. He is going. Quick, cousin, stick him inside before he wakes up. If he comes back alive, we will soon rule the world. Fire when ready.
Good grief! They've done it! There goes poor Scratch, trapped inside a speeding test satellite. Meanwhile, back on 00 Island, Little Squeak and Colonel Bleep desperately try to contact their missing cadet. Then, through his powerful radar scope, the colonel sights the speeding satellite, and the X-ray attachment shows the bewildered caveman trapped inside. Rapidly, the missile circles the Earth, but Bleep knows it is doomed to crash in only a matter of minutes. Closer and closer it sweeps until suddenly it is skimming the ocean in a headlong dash toward 00 Island itself. In a flash, Bleep streaks into action. With his powerful gyro blades, he whips up a windstorm of hurricane force, slowing the Sputnik to a gentle stop. The dazed Scratch is safe at last. Now, with the speed of light, the colonel hurriedly gathers an armload of hornet nests. In an instant, the satellite is transformed into a powerful buzz bomb. With a mighty huff, the angry spaceman sends it spinning back to its launching base. In Spagovia, the gleeful villains happily catch their returning Sputnik.
See, I told you, the test was a big success. By golly, you're right. But what's all this buzzing, cousin? Oh, what's the difference? Open it up. Inside the Sputnik is waiting the just rewards for the future rulers of all the world.
And that's the real story of how Bleep turned an apparent victory into a stinging defeat.